For those of you who might be newer here in the life of Jordan, just to give you a little background, 10 years ago, our church began a brand new ministry called Wipe the Tears. It was incorporated here as a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And in Kakata and Margibi County, Liberia, West Africa, as an NGO, non-governmental organization, so that people could make gifts and receive a tax deduction for their gifts to support this ministry. We began this ministry because Robert and Tila Mamalu, members of the church, who grew up in Liberia but have lived here in the U.S. For nearly 40 years, have been sending items to Liberia for many, many years. And I said, I think, this is something that we could do together. We could partner with you. And that's how the ministry Wipe the Tears began. We partnered with Life Changer Ministry Church in a small community called Peace Island. It's basically a swamp, but it's Peace Island. And when we went there 10 years ago for the first time, we said, what is your greatest need? Liberia is a very poor country. If you go on the World Health Organization scale of development, Liberia isn't at the very bottom, but it's pretty far down there. It's very, very difficult life for people. And so I said, what's the greatest need that you have in this community? They said education. The only way that can break the cycle of poverty is through education. And they had actually a foundation for a school, but no money to build that school. We came back and through your donations, have now a school that started with a very small number, and now has 518 enrolled students from ABC, which is basically nursery, kindergarten, up to 9th grade. Tremendously successful. So Jordan, my daughter, and I just returned on May the 20th from a trip there. It was her third trip, my fourth, to be with the students on the 10th anniversary of the school. And Jordan, you're very passionate about these children, Jordan's children, as they're called. So tell us a little bit more about life for these children and what you've learned over your experience with them.
Yeah, so life in Liberia is an entire different world than what we have here. We're very blessed, and life is hard. Life is incredibly hard from the moment they wake up until they go to sleep. As you can imagine, it is hot. It is very hot, and there is no relief from the heat like we have here, where we can go from our air-conditioned home. We have to be in the heat to get to our air-conditioned car and then back into air conditioning. So we have a lot of relief there. It is just hot all day. It is hot when you sleep. It's hot when you wake up. There's no electricity for a lot of these people. There are very, very few generators in some businesses, but almost nobody has one for their home. There's no running water either, open sewers, so everybody has to get their water from a well. Very hard work, especially if you live far from a well, which a lot of them do. It is a hike just to get one bucket of water, as much as you can carry. So yeah, it is a very hard cycle to break of poverty. There's not a whole lot of opportunities for people like we have here, and especially without that education, which a lot of them don't have the privilege of having. We have a lot of people that don't know their age because they don't know how to use a calendar. They don't know how to read, they don't know how to write, and as you can imagine, to try to excel in life without being able to read is nearly impossible. So the school is making a world of a difference in this community for these people. Like we said, education is the key to success. It is the only way to break these cycles and to help Liberia and, the country as a whole, but specifically this community and this county succeed and move forward. And they are incredibly grateful for the school in ways that I can't put into words. Here, we take advantage of the fact that we have to go to school. Legally, we all have to go to get, an education. And there, it's not the case. Not the case at all. So the children they're thrilled to go to school. They love to go to school. They love to learn. They're very receptive to their teachers because they want to be there. But the school is very different, as you can imagine, than our schools here. Because not everybody is able to go to school at the same time here. Kindergarten starts when you're 5 years old. Everybody's the same age in all the classes. We have some that are 12, 13 years old, and they finally just got the opportunity to go to school. So they start in the ABC class. So our classes have kids that are 5 years old, kids that are 13 years old, all learning the same thing. And the class sizes are very large as well, very different than we have here, just because of a lack of resources, lack of classroom, lack of teachers. So the classes are very big, but they are incredibly well behaved for having 40, 50 kids in a classroom, just because they're so thrilled to be there. But yeah, it's Liberia is like no other. They say Liberians are loving people, and it is a wild understatement. There is a love that you can't find quite anywhere else in the world, and you can find in Peace Island.
They're very much a Christian nation as well. The part of the curriculum is the Bible, but our school rates so well, and Carol Mickley, where is Carol? I think she's in this service. She's downstairs. She went with us a couple of years ago. She's a retired elementary school principal in the Southern Lehigh School District, and she accompanied us, and she said, for developing nation standard, the school is excellent, and the people there know it, because even Muslim families will bring their children to our school, because when it comes to what we would call standardized testing, what they call quizzing, done by the federal government, our students score in the highest. And Margibi County goes all the way down to Monrovia, the capital city. So it's a highly populated area. Kakata is the third largest city in Liberia. So we do an excellent job for a very, very low cost. Last year, we were able to run the school. Our gift to them was $6,000. It was a total gift from our church through Wipe the Tears, and they contributed the rest to make sure that the teachers were paid and kids were scholarshiped. And so what would happen to these kids, you think, if we didn't invest in them, in their lives?
Well, there would be 518 kids that wouldn't be able to go to school, for sure. Like you said, our school has the lowest school fees in the area, and a lot of the kids can't even afford that, and so we have quite a few. Do you know the number on scholarship? A lot of kids.
Some only pay the registration, the families pay the registration fee, which is $15 US dollars a year. That's the registration fee. And we scholarship the rest, but some can't even pay the $15. And they were happy. We went to the market and we bought pencils, pens, and lollipops for all the kids. $40 for 400 pencils, pens, and lollipops. You can see the impact of a relatively small gift in a poor nation.
Oh yeah, I took the kids to the market one day with $3 US dollars, and we fed 40 kids a meal of rice and fish and chicken feet that they also cook. These kids are 7, 8 years old and fully capable of going to the market, bringing home the food, getting the charcoal, and cooking a complete meal, which we don't see often here. But yeah, the school is making a world of a difference for these people. The kids walk from all over to come to the school, miles and miles every single day to come to this school, and they love it. And just like I said, just the fact that they can read and write now, it gives them such a step up in a world and in a community that just allows them to thrive. But yeah, without our school, there would be a lot of kids that would continue in the cycle of just selling things in the market to help support their families or doing hard manual labor. It's making an absolute world of a difference, and that is thanks to you. And this is the direct result of your gifts and God's work, obviously. But it's making a huge impact in a very small community. We can't change the world, but we are changing the world for these people.
I go back, whenever I go to Liberia, I think of my parents' generation and my grandparents' generation. My mom and dad were born in 29 and 32. My grandparents, about the turn of the century, 18th century to the 19th century to the 20th century. My dad went to 8th grade, that's as far as he got. My mom to 10th grade. My grandparents plowed with a horse and were hucksters. So they sold their produce to various hotels and so on. Hard life, no indoor plumbing. So going back 100 years, basically, is what the reality of Liberia is every day today. Just think, going back 100 years in our country, and that's the reality today. And so we can send money, our government can send money to their government, and you know what happens? It doesn't get to the people. It just doesn't. But because Robert Mamalu is there for 6 months, because the church has been there for many years, because the school has been there for 10 years, every dollar that we invest, we know where it goes. We know the outcome as well.
Right. It's not like, when you check out at Weiss, everywhere it asks you, would you like to round up? And even, a lot of those big corporations, the money doesn't end up going where it's supposed to. It ends up, paying people's salaries, and then there's some that trickle down into actually the work. But every dollar that you give, that you donate, goes directly to, they call them Jordan's children, because it's our church's children, and we should take responsibility for that. And but yeah, it's going right to them, directly to them, every dollar.
And their generosity is amazing. You'll see here in the upper narthex a certificate that they wanted us to bring back. They framed it for us. Someone didn't eat in order to give us that. This outfit was a gift from the community for me. I preached in this same outfit, Liberia, very African outfit, 2 weeks ago. I give a gift to Jordan, to Gail, my wife, and they're just so generous. They have almost nothing to give, and yet they want to give, and they want to partner with us to help their children. You see the video and the slides that Adam has put on the screen and going out on the live stream as well. But before we just move to the last things, do you want to say anything else? And then we'll just talk about some ways that people can get involved.
Yeah, there's just no words to explain the love that these people have. Just like you said with the generosity, we didn't need this, but they wanted to give it to us as a gift of appreciation. And like you said, people had to not eat to be able to give us this. So just their generosity is incredible, and their faith is something that I have yet to find anywhere else in the world. They have such unwavering, strong faith in the Lord. And for people who have nothing, their faith is everything. So we're making a difference. You're
going to cry. She's going to cry. So
I was ready for this. I was gonna cry.
She cried a lot because one night she cried herself to sleep because she said that she played with the kids a lot. And Oliver Kirkwala, the overseer of Life Changer Ministry, said, "You make the children so happy they forget that they're hungry." It made me cry too. So we make a difference, and we have the giving tree here in the upper narthex. So a couple ways that we want you to consider getting involved and to prayerfully consider a gift to support our ministry. We can underwrite our annual contribution, but we really need more people to invest in order to upgrade the school in a couple of ways. So Adam's going to be showing this. One is do you want to talk about the desk or?
Yeah. So right now the kids for school, they share chairs with the church. So they're like those, $5 plastic chairs. So every morning they have devotion, and then they walk over to the church and they carry the chairs like on their heads. Little broken chairs and desks, and they sit sometimes 2 to 3 kids per chair to fit into the classrooms. And it's just a chair, so there's no desk, there's no writing space for them to be able to actually, do their work. So there's a local craftsman that's very close to the community who makes these desks, and they are $35 a piece, and they will sit 3 kids at a desk, bless you, and they will have, a real desk to be able to write on that has storage underneath.
Oh, that's not good.
For the things. Just having something that's made to be in school and able to write, and that kids don't have to share chairs would be wonderful.
So our goal is to get 100 desks. That'll seat 3 kids each. They're $35 per desk, 100 desks. That will not be every student, but that will be a big start.
Yeah, and then we are also looking to replace, currently they're using chalkboards, and I know even in our schools you don't see chalkboards anymore. They are very outdated, and theirs are incredibly outdated and very old, and the kids have to hold it up while the teacher writes on the board or it will fall. So we are looking to put whiteboards into all the classrooms for easy access, for the teachers to just have a clean space to write on, and for the kids to be able to actually see what's on the board for them to learn. So we need, 14?
We have 14. We had a couple donated this morning, and those are $150. It's every classroom, the teacher, the principal's office, and so on. So maybe you'd like to buy a whiteboard. Okay, so because we have so many kids on the day that the kids were back in school, we arrived Friday night. It takes 20 hours because no American carrier flies, U.S. carrier flies directly to Liberia. You have to go through Europe and then to Sierra Leone. It took 20 hours to get there. Got there on Friday night. Saturday was a big gala event, and then Sunday morning church and so on. Monday was a federal holiday, so after a 3-day weekend, you can imagine Tuesday morning at a school day, not everybody was there. We had 422 kids in attendance. There's not enough room in our school anymore, so we used part of the church as well. But the church was expanding because it has also grown. Christianity is really on fire in much of Africa, on the decline in the U.S., and on the rise in the African continent, many countries of Africa, as it is in Liberia. There's a thatch roof. That's all there is on the new addition, and a dirt floor. So every time it rains, you got mud, and it's getting into the rainy season. So the kids sit there, either drops coming in on them or just in the mud. So we'd like to get what they call it zinc, but just basically metal roofing. They have the timber and everything else. They just need bundles. There's 20 pieces in a bundle. It's $90 US, and we need 42 of those. So maybe you'd like to consider an investment of $90 that'll do part of the roof. Want to go, or should I?
We are also looking to continue the education of some of the administrators at the school. So the principal, the vice principal, and the administrator are all continuing their education to provide better education for our kids. And so they each have 3 semesters left. So we're looking to find sponsors for them. It's $100 per semester. So we would, 9 total? Mm-hmm. 3 people for 3 semesters for them to be able to finish their education. And we are also looking to have a nurse in the school. And there is a nurse who is just about to graduate nursing school that is a part of the church and would like to be a part of the school. So we are looking to help with donations for her graduation fees, which are...
We have half of that already, so we need another $125 today.
Yeah, to help her graduate from school so that she'll be able to be there for the kids and educate them on, health and general hygiene, and also just to be there in case something were to happen.
And then also, we would like to continue our scholarship of the students, and so if you'd like to make a one-time or reoccurring gift to sponsor a student and their cost of their education, we'd love to have a computer lab. We took 3 laptops, and we'd love to have just a small designated area for a computer lab that they can use a generator to use a computer, because today, most of us wouldn't be able to do a whole lot without our computer, so just something small. And then finally, and probably most...
The computer lab is a huge step in getting these kids to where they need to be. We use computers for everything. We all have computers in our pockets. You use them to contact people all day, every day. It's the way of the future, the only way. And so to give these kids kind of that, it would never be level, but to try to, get them to that point, they need to be computer literate. You can do okay in Liberia without it, but to really connect with anywhere else in the world, you need that computer skills. And these kids have never seen a computer, never touched a computer or a phone, whereas, we have kids that are 5 years old that can work a computer better than me. So a computer lab is huge to get them that level up.
We think that's about $1,000. And finally, we go up to 9th grade, and the kids don't want to leave the school because they'd like to continue their education. Can you imagine that here in the U.S.? Kids would say, I don't want to leave school. I want to keep learning, but we don't have any ability at this moment. We have land. It's just a matter of building a school. We probably need $10,000 to be able to build and resource the school building. And I know there are people in our church that can make that gift possible. and maybe not just a one-time gift, maybe over a couple of years, but make a commitment to these children.
Yeah, they literally begged us. We had on Saturday a parade, and we had some of the alumni come back, and a lot of them have not been able to continue education past 9th grade. So once our school ends, that's it for them, unfortunately, because a lot of them aren't able to pay the fees in other places or have that available to them. So it sadly ends with us, and so to be able to bridge that gap, we really need to get it to 12th grade. There is opportunities for them. There's a couple trade schools in Liberia. There's also the University of Liberia, but they need to have that 12th grade finished in order to be able to do any of that. So getting it to 12th grade is a huge deal.
So we have a giving tree here. If you'd like to take a leaf, $35 for a desk, $150 for the whiteboard. If you'd like to do any of the sponsorships, you'll see the insert. It doesn't have to be today. You don't have to write a check today. You can just make a commitment for the future, because this is an ongoing. It's 10 years so far. We're going to continue as long as we possibly can with the school. We're trying to move them to self-sufficiency, but as you know, our economy has been struggling. Their economy never really recovered from COVID or Ebola. Ebola hit them very, very hard. So come and see us after church. They will be here in the upper narthex. Any closing before Adam shows the video?
Yeah, there's something that everybody can do. Whether you can't give a large gift, everybody can give something. And I will be having a donation box downstairs just for the future ongoing. If you have just a couple dollars just to stick in there, it goes an incredibly far way, and the people are just beyond grateful for it. But even if you can't give, pray. Pray. That's all they ask of us every time we were there, was just to pray for them. So I would invite you to join us in praying for them every day. But yeah, just prayerfully consider what you can do, because we're making a world of a difference for people. So.
Okay, Adam? These are your children, Jordan's children.
Yeah, in case you couldn't understand, they were singing about how they're lifting Jesus' name on high. Everywhere they go, they're lifting it on high, and that's the truth. So thank you. Thank you for helping.